You are Locked On Phillies Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. You are Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta, and you're watching right now live the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Thanks for being along for the ride as the Phillies open up this three-game series at Fenway Park with a 4-1 victory. Schwarbomb, 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 Schwarbomb. It's officially June for Kyle Schwarber, who entered tonight on pace for just 27 home runs on the season. I don't know what it jumps up to after a two-homer game, including the first pitch of the game. 17th time he has done that since the start of last year, passing Mookie Betts, by the way, for the person who's done it the most in the majors in that span. Not too shabby. Kyle Schwarber jumps out on that first pitch tonight, gives the Phillies a 1-0 lead before you can even blink. Great to see that. Also great to see Zack Wheeler going out there, and not just the typical wheeling and dealing that Zack Wheeler typically does, but wheeling and dealing with Garrett Stubbs behind the dish tonight with the JT Realmuto news breaking earlier in the day. I do have one little thing about that I'm a little skeptical on, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, the celebration, just enjoying this victory stateside for your Phillies. Bryson Stott coming up with a couple of hits in today's game as well. That was great to see. The defense backing up their starting pitching as well today. Alec Boehm had a couple of good plays there at third. You had Garrett Stubbs, like I said, behind the plate, come up with a big strike him out, throw him out, strike him out courtesy of Zack Wheeler, throw him out courtesy of a right-on-the-money throw from Garrett Stubbs behind the plate. That was fantastic. And then also tonight, Jose Alvarado coming out. I mean, Matt Strahm going out there and doing what Matt Strahm does, and quite frankly, what Matt Strahm should have done a little earlier in that final game there in London town against the Mets. But for whatever reason, Tinker Topper decided to tinker the wrong way in that game. But Strahm went out there and did what he was supposed to do tonight, and Jose Alvarado, he allowed a base runner, a couple of pitches out of the zone, but still got his 12th save of the season. This was the perfect thing here for Rob Thompson. I talk a lot about the philosophical Rob Thompson and what he likes to do with certain pitchers. Some things he'll do with bullpen guys, starting pitchers, even guys that are everyday position players. But he likes to go right back to them after a bit of a folly. We'll put it that way. Jose Alvarado, certainly a folly. One of two blown saves in the same game. Him and Gregory Soto in that second game against the Mets in London. He went right back to him. At least he went right back to Jose Alvarado for this game, and Jose Alvarado was able to pick up that 12th save of the season. Before we go any further, I got to tell you, this episode of Locked On Phillies Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use all lowercase. Locked On MLB for your first deposit match up to $100. And yes, of course, make sure you hit like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel for all your Philadelphia sports needs, especially through this entire baseball season, where yours truly will be helping to break down each win and the very few losses, knock on wood, that the Phillies have experienced so far this season. Before I really jump into the game, I just want to celebrate something. I want to look at something and just revel in it for a second. And we've been doing a little bit of this. Bob Nightingale, USA Today, put this out right before we went on this evening. Phillies win again. They're 46-20 on the season. The only time they've had a better start after 46 games was 1976, and now they have a 10-game lead in the NL East. Magic number is 88. You would think this is like, if I just read this tweet to you, you'd be like, all right, what homer Philadelphia fan is already tweeting out the magic number? It is an objective USA Today national reporter, Bob Nightingale. Magic number is 88. Here are the standings right now, taking this from our friends over there at the other thing, ESPN. National League East, this is the National League East. 10 games over the Braves, 15 games ahead of the Nationals, 17 over the Metropolitans, 23.5 against the Marlins. Here it is for the entire National League. Right now, they are 5.5 games up on the Dodgers and 7 games up on the Brew Crew. who, well, yeah, they just handled the business against them, didn't they? Yeah, it was a fun game. It's a fun game we like to play. Now, as far as, well, first off, to celebrate that, I've been saying this really this entire magical season. Keep on reveling in it. And obviously, the Phillies got some awful news today. It's not nearly as bad as it could be. Whenever you see a player getting injured, you always hope that it's not, oh, please don't let it be season ending, especially if it's someone like Nick Castillo, or especially if it's someone like JT Realmuto, who Nick Castellanos recently described by way of Corey Seidman, the backbone of this team. JT Realmuto is going to miss about a month, according to Dave Dombrowski, as he gets his knee worked on. My only thing with this, before we really jump into the win here, my only thing with the JT Realmuto news is, according to the broadcast tonight, Tom McCarthy alluded to it, Dave Dombrowski alluded to it, Rob Thompson noticed JT kind of wincing from time to time, but, he's a tough guy. He'll play through just about anything. And JT even wanted to play through this and maybe even go into the offseason with it. But Dave Dombrowski said both parties, both JT Realmuto's party and the Phillies, said now's probably the better time to do this. But hold on. If everybody knew that JT Realmuto was headed this way, then why go to London? Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that he played. I love the fact that he was in London. I love that he's a gamer. But you just had essentially 3 extra days off, more so than normal. That's like a series worth. Why even bother? Almost 5-6 days where you could have had a little bit more of a jump start. So instead of maybe 5 weeks, he's back in 4. Now, look, the Phillies are 10 games in first place in the National League East. The Phillies, as we just pointed out, are 5.5 games up in the National League in total. The Phillies right now have a better win percentage than anybody in Major League Baseball. So, yeah, technically they still have the best record in baseball. They could afford to be losing a guy like JT Realmuto, who, if you're being real about Realmuto at this point, has struggled from the plate over the last month. The numbers are 236 over the last 30 days, 121 from the dish over the last 15 days, 167 from the plate over the last week. So not great offensively speaking. But when you talk about leadership and you talk about defensive capabilities, obviously off the charts for the Phillies. This is not a death blow to this Phillies season, especially if Kyle Schwarber is going to start June right now. If we start to see Kyle Schwarber right now, Garrett Stubbs gets a hit tonight, throws a guy out. All right, fine. Good, way to go. Rafael Marchand, hey, here's another opportunity for you. Really, you haven't played in since 2021? You've had your own injuries. You've had to deal with some things. Now you're back, 25 years old, back at the big league level. You already have a couple of big league home runs under your belt. You've had your first hits, your first home runs out of the way. Come up there and just, help the ball club. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just help the ball club a little bit. Right? Please? It shouldn't come down to it. If you have Kyle Schwarber hitting baseballs, if you have Trey Turner coming back, and Trey Turner's going out there, and he's doesn't miss a beat from batting .343 since before he went on the IL, there's going to be fine and dandy. Bryce Harper keeps hitting. Bryson Stott turns it on. Oh, come on, man. All will be right with the world. And the Phillies can of course, afford a little bit of time without JT Realmuto. So that I understand. But if I had to question anything about it, it's like, hold on. Everybody knew this is where we were going with this, and yet we waited an extra 5-6 days with this. And that's 2 series. That's almost a week. That's a week earlier. He could have come back. Okay. Not going to nitpick when you're off to your best, quote-unquote, start, or you're having the best season through 46 games that you've had since 1976. So I'm not going to quibble over it. I'm just merely going to acknowledge that measly idea. So as far as this game went tonight, here are 3 big things, which, by the way, this is a record, the longest we've taken to get to 3 big things. And by we, I mean me. Okay, 3 big things. Number 1, Kyle Schwarber. We have been waiting quite some time for Kyle Schwarber to start belting baseballs at an alarming rate. I mentioned it already. Before this game tonight, he was only on pace for 27 home runs. I did not expect at any point this season for Kyle Schwarber to be on pace for anything less than a 35 home run season. That's shocking to me. Now, you go into this game tonight with 11 home runs. You get your 12th and your 13th this evening. So good for you. Hopefully that gets you over the hump a little bit. But obviously, you've seen months from Kyle Schwarber where he'll rip off 8 home runs, 9, 10, 11 home runs in a single month. And then all of a sudden, the whole outlook is different. It was very similar for him going into last year, going into the month of June, where it took him a minute to really get things underway as well. But he was able to get things underway, and then he started mashing. I thought before this season, with the idea of him solely being the Phillies' designated hitter and Bryce Harper at first base for the year, and all Kyle Schwarber had to do was worry about batting, I thought that's quite possible that Kyle Schwarber has a 50 home run season. Not a hot take. Very possible considering he's playing those games at Citizens Bank Park. And also considering all he's got to do is hit. That's it. No days off because he's been playing in left field too much or anything like that. No, all he's got to do is just worry about hitting. He's played 1 game in left field. I am fine with this DH in the National League, and I've been for quite some time, especially since the Phillies have gotten Kyle Schwarber. So seeing him go out there and jump on that first pitch, 444 feet to center field, slightly right center field, blasting off at a first pitch fastball. Why Cutter Crawford would throw him that pitch to open up the game, I have no idea. But Kyle Schwarber has been waiting on that pitch since they walked off the diamond in London, onto the plane, landed in Boston, got to Fenway Park. He was just cocked and ready to go. And it was one of those hits that you knew on contact. One of those home runs that you knew on contact was just going to be destroyed. And it was. First pitch fastball right over the middle of the plate. High in the zone, but over the middle of the plate. And he just tattooed it to center field. The second one was to right field. Splitter up in the zone. 427 feet. It was measured at. That one gave the Phillies their final run of the ball game and the final run of the game in total, as it was a 4-1 game at that point, and the Phillies were able to ride that the rest of the way. But these were no doubt about it blasts from Kyle Schwarber. More of that, please, sir. Kyle Schwarber on fire in this game, at least. Second up, number 2, 3 big things I got to get into here. Oh, and one more time to reiterate with Kyle Schwarber. With JT being out, now would be a good time to hit the on button for SCHWARBOMBS in June, right? Okay. Now moving on to number 2 here. Zack Wheeler. The last time Garrett Stubbs caught Zack Wheeler, it did not go so well. 4 innings pitched, 6 runs, all of them earned. That's crazy. It wasn't great. 80 pitches through 4 innings for Zack Wheeler. After the game, the hot take artist, and I am not a hot take artist, but the hot take artist would say, Zack Wheeler, he threw Garrett Stubbs under the bus. No, he acknowledged that a guy he doesn't really work with, they weren't on the same page. It wasn't Stubbs' fault. He took responsibility for it. Zack Wheeler took responsibility for it. The home plate umpire in the game, whose name I forget, Zack Wheeler said, no, he did a good job. He called balls, and strikes. And, Stubbs and I, we just haven't been, we haven't really worked together, so we're not going to be on the same page. Not an excuse, just an acknowledgement of something that was kind of going awry during the game. Well, let's see here. Back on the 12th of May, you have the 4-inning performance, 6 runs, 6 hits. All the runs were earned. You only struck out 2, and you threw 80 pitches to get through those 4 innings of work. Well, wouldn't you know it? Tonight, second time Garrett Stubbs has caught him. It was a much different story. And against a better team. The Marlins are god-awful. The Red Sox are at least a 500 ball club. All right? You know what I'm saying? So look at this. The matchup tonight with Wheeler and Stubbs in the battery here, okay? 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, obviously no home runs, 88 pitches, and he lowers his ERA to 2.16, improves to 8-3 on the year. That's more like it. And if you're going to be caught a couple of more times in the next month here, maybe 3-4 more times with maybe 5-6 more times with Garrett Stubbs behind the plate, it's good to see you get on the same page a wee bit. And here they are on the same page. That first inning, there was a couple of pitches where I saw Garrett Stubbs, for instance, line up on the outside. The pitch came to the inside. He lined up on the inside. The pitch went to the outside. I don't know if that was control. I don't know if that was just not being on the same page. But whatever it was, after that, it was a thing of beauty. First inning, he gives up the leadoff single to Duran. Hamilton gets the double. You're a little concerned there, but ended up with Ref Snyder goes up there and gets the RBI sac fly, which made it a 1-1 ball game. Then Devers fouled out the first. Yoshida then grounded out to Bryson Stott at second base, and that was it. That was the biggest damage biggest trouble that you saw. A little bit more reared its ugly head in the second inning. Wong led off with a single. Smith flew out to center field. Valdez struck out on a sinker. Wong stole second base after that, but then they challenged it. Great throw by Stubbs for the strike him out, throw him out double play to get out of that second inning. So no more trouble. Then in the third inning, an 8-pitch inning. An 8-pitch inning for Zack Wheeler. Simply dominant. Rafaela goes up there. One pitch pops out to short. Duran goes up there, pops out to third on 2 pitches. And then Hamilton goes up there on 5 pitches and lines out to first base. So at that point, Wheeler is absolutely in control. He has another 8-pitch inning there in the 5th inning and a 10-pitch inning in his final inning, that 7th inning, where he just kept on dominating. Yoshida gave him a little bit of a run for his money with a 6-pitch at bat in the 7th inning, but that was pretty much it. Just a 10-pitch inning in total. There was one more at bat that he really struggled with, really fought with. I think it was Yoshida in the 4th inning. It ended up being a walk, but he was able to get out of any jam there. 9-pitch at bat that he won with a strikeout on Hamilton, throwing a 3-2 sweeper away for the second out there of the 6th inning, and just dominant. When he needed put away pitches, he got put away pitches. If you look at the box score and you only see 4 strikeouts, doesn't tell the whole story at all. When he needed to get that put away pitch, he got that put away pitch, and that's what you saw from Zack Wheeler. And I also credit getting on the same page maybe through those first 2 innings with Garrett Stubbs. And that's how they were able to get real control. I mean, really, you talk about the first inning, the run scored, and then after that, 6 scoreless from Zack Wheeler. You love to see it. Number 3 on this list, I know he's giving some people agita. I was doing a hit on one of our local news stations here in Philadelphia the other day, and the host happened to mention to me that he can't watch Jose Alvarado. I can understand how it might be difficult for anyone to watch the bottom of the 9th inning or the top of the 9th inning as your closer is trying to slam the door shut, or especially the bottom of the 9th inning where you're on the road and another team is putting ducks on the pond. It's a bit of a close game. I can understand not wanting to watch any closer. I can understand Jose Alvarado after that last game, 35 pitches against the New York Mets, the most pitches he's ever thrown in a Phillies uniform in a single inning. That's not good. That's bad. But for the most part, Jose Alvarado has been fantastic for the last almost 2 full years now. What I am seeing from him is, a guy that can be a little bit erratic. But one of the jobs is, as a closer, is to take advantage of hitters that might be a little over anxious to be the hero. Alvarado has gotten by phenomenally well on that. There was a couple of pitches that he just hummed in the zone there. Top of the zone, 99-mile-per-hour sinker that were just fouled away. Great at-bats were had in that 9th inning on Jose Alvarado. But to see him right that ship in the game tonight and be able to get that save, his 12th of the season, no runs crossing the plate on him. He gave up 1 hit. It was to Hamilton to center field. Other than that, the man was going out there and absolutely dealing. And that's what you want to see. It's like many times we talk about it in football, a running back fumbles the ball, a wide receiver drops one wide open, something like that. And they go right back to him on the next play, that type of thing to kind of get their confidence back. And, hey, put that behind you. We're all putting it behind you. We need you the rest of the way. That's what Rob Thompson, I actually think, for the most part, has done a good job with. I still don't understand Soto taking over for Taijuan Walker in that last game in London, but yet here we are. I understand giving the ball right back to Alvarado because you're going to need him. You're going to need Hoffman, of course. But I think the days of watching Gregory Soto in high leverage situations, if it can be avoided, I think the Phillies are going to avoid it. So that's the way I look at it for tonight. Schwarbombs, you got 2 of them. And then you also have Zack Wheeler going out there and doing his thing. Jose Alvarado slamming the door closed there for his 12th save of the season. And if I had to give one honorable mention, the honorable mention would go to Garrett Stubbs tonight for being solid behind the plate. Throwing error late, trying to do a little too much. You can afford that when at least you got a 3-run lead there in the 9th inning. But it ended up not harming the Phils. Also had a hit. He had a stolen base himself. And he had a second part of the strike him out, throw him out double play. Oh, and he also caught a 7-inning, 1-run performance. I do wonder if Aaron Nola's endorsement of Garrett Stubbs has helped. I'm not saying Zack Wheeler was looking down upon him at all, but maybe helped. Like, all right, if Knowles can go out there and have a great outing with Zack Wheeler or with Garrett Stubbs catching him, then me as Zack Wheeler can go out there and have a great outing with Garrett Stubbs catching me. At least maybe. When we come back, we're going to take a look more at this JT Realmuto thing. And one of the things the Phillies have to rely on, it's something they relied on all season long. We'll also take your comments. Coming up in a few, your Locked On Phillies postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe to Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Have you guys heard about Ibotta? Ibotta is fantastic. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items, from groceries to beauty supplies to even toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, the flight that you've been eyeing, or maybe a fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't really amount to much, but with Ibotta, you just add your offers in the app, you upload your receipt, and you get the real cash that you can cash out to your bank account, to your PayPal, or into gift cards. Join over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop with over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your grocery stores, as well as Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora. Don't tell my wife. Best Buy, and so much more. Here's what you could do. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners and viewers like you $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. So go to the App Store, Google Play Store, and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use LOCKEDONMLB. That's promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Ibotta in the Google Play Store or App Store, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Ibotta, IBOTTA, on the Google Play and App Store, and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Prize Picks. You guys know I have a lot of fun on Prize Picks, even though I took the L today. When you go and pick more or less on Prize Picks, generally speaking, more on Zack Wheeler is going to win it for you. Strikeouts, not so much tonight, unfortunately, for me. But hopefully you had better luck. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun, exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just simply pick more or less on 2 or more player stats for your shot to win up to 100 times your cash. The finals mean more on Prize Picks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars during the NBA Finals, and you won't find anywhere else but Prize Picks. Baseball season, as we know, we're all enjoying it to this point. You can cash in on the amazing action with Prize Picks. Add your favorite players from your diamond on your Prize Picks lineups all season long, whether it's strikeouts, womp womp for me, RBIs, first inning runs. Take your pick more or less and add them to Prize Picks, to your Prize Picks lineup today. I made my first deposit, $10 deposit, and received an instant $10 bonus. You can have the same type of luck. You can have the same type of advantage. If you have the skills, you can play for a shot at turning your $10 into $1,000. Download the app today. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100 on Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match up to $100. How amazing is that? Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's just that easy. Let's get into this chat check and see what you guys are doing before we talk about a couple other things here going on. Zach, what's going on? I'll tell you one thing. Watching Jose Alvarado is like going on a Ferris wheel. It's always up and down with him. More or less. IBH, good evening. It's still a shame how many homers Schwarber hits with no one on base. Oh, well, yeah. Kind of a leadoff hitter, and that's the problem, unfortunately. IBH, 5.5 game lead on LA. Kath Schwarber, it's June, baby. Bombs away. Faxi, what's going on? Locked in, on, locked on. Gotcha. I like it. T-Bro, what's up, T-Bo? Schwarbarian. Project 50's going on. How you doing? Not feeling good about losing JT? Neither am I. Oh, Ari, thanks. You liked and subscribed. I appreciate it. I got to go. Go Birds. But either way, go Birds. Thanks. 10-game lead on your 10-game lead to the favorite to win the division. The Braves makes me feel good. Zach, I 1 billion% concur. Bryce Harper should be the MVP. There you go. Seriously, Larry, great name. Next man up, as always. John gets it. The Phillies' big 4 pitching starters keep plowing through their opponents. We can weather some injuries and have done so. Excellent point. Jonathan Harry, what's going on? The day Johan Rojas is no longer in a Phillies uniform, I will feel secure about their success in the playoffs and the World Series. And Alvarado needs to trim his gut for better control of the bat. Yeah, that's the problem. I've never seen a pitching coach be like, well, you just trim a couple of LBs. Maybe that's why you're pulling the ball. You're shifting your weight a little too fast. Sean Kilraid, what's up, Farzy? How about Wheeler never pitching in Fenway until today? Yeah, that was bonkers. I couldn't believe that. I just heard that stat after I did my show this morning. I just heard that stat, Sean. Or not stat, but that factoid. That's bonkers, man. Everyone's saying hello. Hello, everyone. Mark Washkill, what's going on? Scares me too. I assume that's Alvarado you're talking about. Okay, this is a joke, right? We should have kept Kimbrel. Are you serious? Don't tell me you're serious. There you go. Kyle Schwarber now has 13 games with multiple home runs since he became a Philly in 2022. Second in baseball behind Aaron Judge. Phillies are now 20-4 when Kyle Schwarber hits a leadoff home run. Thank you, Sean Kilrain. I love that. That's great stuff. T-Bro, yes, the Alvarado. You're giving me agita over here. Needs to make some new bead necklaces and have Joe Boo bless them. There you go. I do it myself. This is all great. Wait, who am I trading for? Randy Arozarena has 2 more years arbitration remaining in his deal. 29-year-old, slow start. No, I'd have to look a little bit more into him. But as of right now, no. Thanks, everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys checking in. Here's what needs to happen, and we alluded to it a little bit ago. I forget who mentioned it, but it's the next man up mentality that really helps this Phillies team. And it's not just guys like Edmundo Sosa, for instance, taking over for Trey Turner in the time that he's been on the IL. But we have talked about this many, many times, and this is just another opportunity for this to happen again. It doesn't have to be Garrett Stubbs going out there and being some phenomenal hitting and defensive catcher. It doesn't have to be Rafael Marchand going out there and doing that as well. No, it could be somebody else in this Phillies lineup. If you're going to have Stubbs or Marchand go up there and be your 8 or 9 hole hitter, well, then I'm not expecting a lot offensively. I'm not expecting them to all of a sudden be, close to 20 home runs, or anything like that by the end of the year. That's bonkers. But if Kyle Schwarber all of a sudden starts picking up and you see what has happened with, Bryson Stott cooled off. Bryce Harper got hot. Nick Castellanos started to get hot. JT Realmuto started to cool down. Alec Boehm got red hot. Then started to cool down. Then Nick Castellanos got hot again. There's only like 2 separate times this season where Castellanos has been hot for like a week or a little bit more. It's been few and far between, but you know what I'm saying. They pick their spots, not just for the guy replacing the injured guy, like Sosa is the perfect example of that, but somebody's starting to cool off, come back down to earth. Somebody else starts to get red hot and leave the planet. If that's Kyle Schwarber right now, if right now he is choosing June to be the hot June that we have gotten to know that, thank you, T-Bro, Schwarbarian that he could be, well, then so be it. And he's going to help carry the workload left behind by guys like JT Realmuto no longer being in this lineup. And then you blink and Trey Turner's back with you. That'll be fun too. All right. When we come back, we'll take a look at where the Phillies are headed after this. You are Locked On Sports Philadelphia, Locked On Phillies postcast. FanDuel, Hope you guys are having fun on FanDuel. Summertime means baseball. It means the NBA Finals. It means the NHL as well, and you can bet on it all at FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200. You can use the bet. You can use to bet on NBA Finals. You could use to bet on who's the final MVP or anything like that. Who's going to hit one out of the park? And right now, if you're looking at the NBA Finals on FanDuel, Dallas Mavericks right now down 0-2. But about to host their first game of the series in Game 3 coming up tomorrow night. That's Wednesday night at 8:30 in Dallas. Dallas right now 2.5-point favorites in that game. Luka Doncic, by the way, to score 50 points or more is going off at plus 2,300. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn. That's FanDuel.com/LockedOn and add a big win to your summer bucket list. FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Your Philadelphia Phillies are going to be right back at it against this Boston Red Sox team that is now 33-34 on the season. Philadelphia Phillies and Red Sox will get this game underway again tomorrow night at 7:10. In the game, the Phillies will have Christopher Sanchez back on the bump. He'll go against former Phillies prospect and Phillies starting pitcher Nick Pivetta, who is 3-4 on the season with a 3.40 ERA. Christopher Sanchez, the lefty, will be on the hill. He's 3-3 on the season with a 2.71 ERA. Pivetta coming off one hell of a last couple of starts here. Against the Atlanta Braves, he went 7 scoreless, allowing just 1 hit, walking 2 with 9 strikeouts. Before that, he beat up on the Detroit Tigers, going 5 1/3, allowing just 2 runs on 3 hits. Did give up a home run, also just walking 2 and striking out 9. Just like Zack Wheeler, it's been a minute since Christopher Sanchez has started for the Phillies. His last start was a thing of beauty. 6 innings, 1 run, 1 hit against the Milwaukee Brewers. In his last 2 starts, he's gone at least 6 innings in both of them, 12 total, allowing 8 hits in total, and just 1 run over his last 2 starts combined with 10 strikeouts and 2 walks. A little bit more of that when it comes to this game as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Once again, make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Appreciate you guys. Be back with you tomorrow night after the Phillies and Red Sox battle it out yet again, where we hope June Schwarber continues. Thanks, everyone. See you tomorrow night.